Now, query performance insights will help you to quickly identify what your longest running queries are. So it's very easy as a database administrator to identify those, how they change over time, and what weights are affecting them. The advanced threat protection capabilities detects anomalies within database activities, which might indicate potential security threats, such as injection attacks. Uh, and the new layer of security enables you to detect and respond to these potential threats as they occur by providing security alerts or anomalous database activity. The advanced threat protection makes it actually really simple to address using the Azure for Database Servers integration within the Azure Security Center all up without needing to be a security expert. For application developers, the Azure integration provides key integration with popular frameworks like Drupal, Django, but also popular programming language like Python and so on. We've done work to really make it simple for application developers to both provision applications on open source databases by building a connection in Azure App Services or with other services on Azure. Several of our customers have interesting solutions built around this, being able to leverage advanced analytics and AI capabilities as part of their broader solution architecture and scenario. Customers build these solutions with Azure Database for MySQL while taking advantage of the Azure global reach of 60 plus Azure regions where they could spin these services up and bring them closer to the users. Needless to say that this is one of the core reasons that customers want to migrate from on-premises or private cloud environments to Azure and taking advantage of the Azure Database Migration Service to be able to do online migration to Azure without the application taking any downtime. And we have a closer look on how that actually works as part of our migration steps. Now, when we think about the guidance on performing migrations, we actually built a very comprehensive database migration guide that is available for you to identify the path or the recommendation to drive the data migration forwards. So the database migration guide allows you to pick and choose what's the migration strategy that we'll be using from what source to the other, and will then access and give you insights into the right steps and the right points as part of the migration. Now, when we think about migration, there's a lot of aspects you have to consider prior to starting a migration. What are my databases? What are the database assets? What are the applications and environments that I have to go configure and assess whether or not the workload is suitable to perform the database migration to Azure. So we can assess these workloads and fix and recommendations, do an assessment of the source schema and see if that source schema will actually work in the target platform the way it sits in Azure. This is certainly relevant when you want to do subsets of your migrations or really make this shift from this on-premises environment, starting to leverage some of the new capabilities or certain compatibility issues might arise. As we look at the actual migration phase, where you're migrating the schema and the database objects from the source schema and source database over to the cloud, we're going to be talking about some of the tooling that we're going to be using to perform that actual migration in real time or in an offline scenario. But we'll also look on how to sync your target schema and the data with the source, which is relevant and needed if you're using a minimal downtime migration strategy. And then at some point, you're going to have to do that cutover where you're going to be taking this application, this workload over to the new environment. Now, moving over from an on-premises environment and starting to leverage the past capabilities that we have with the MySQL offering, we actually have some great opportunity to start optimizing the destination environment. And we could do that by using the performance optimization, testing, do some validations around these performance issues. And of course, this is a circle of continuous optimization and improvement that is very common in some of these scenarios. How do you remediate applications? How do you run performance testing? And really, how do you optimize? So let's have a look in a bit more detail on what that migration flow will be. First of all,